All right, today we're doing a community vote on the top constructors. I am doing this on a live stream that was recorded in the past. If you're watching this on YouTube, you did already miss it, but my Twitch link is in the description down below if you guys ever want to join a live stream and be part of these recordings. This is a community vote, so constructors are going to go up and down based on the opinions of people at all power levels. You can't trust every single placement, but I'll explain everything as we go, and I actually take that role seriously, which is why I'm re-recording this. This is take 2 as I'm making this video because some of these constructors look so freaking similar that I spent way too long explaining the wrong hero, and I'm just going to be a lot more thorough this time. Look at this. I got my cheat sheet. I got all their names right here, and I'll explain what they do as we go along. So, yeah. I don't remember the exact order of this because I think it starts up here, and then, like, it starts with this first one in the top left, and then it goes backwards from here. I believe that's the order that things go in, and we're gonna go starting from here. Little Ben's Warcry to kick us off. So, this is 8-bit demo. He makes it so that your explosive weapons have a 20% chance not to consume ammo. That's a pretty solid ability. I think we put him in B tier last time. We're gonna go through these first few a little quickly because of that, and yeah, I think B tier is where he should be. I'm gonna skip ahead so that we can keep going. Do I not have a skip option for this one? Okay, I guess not. Maybe only the next ones, but he's pretty solid. He's not used all the time, and you don't even need him in every single launcher loadout. But launcher ammo, energy ammo, launcher ammo can be really expensive, and he can save you on that. So Brainstorm, our new constructor. The reason this list is kind of worth an update, but also not really, because he is useless. He makes it so that you summon phantasms when you kill frozen enemies, which is as useless as it sounds. And in support, he makes your decoy freeze enemies. It's not that great. We're just going to skip ahead on to the next one. This is Warden Kyle. He makes it so that his base heals you. It's kind of nice. It's a little useful. It's not that much health, but he can be good to throw into a constructor build, especially if you're running Mega Base in the lead where you got a large area to cover. Healing all your teammates passively can be good. I think B tier is fair. It's nice to have, but not essential. Not essential. This is Vintage Tech Penny. I think seeing as we just went through all these heroes and I'm re-recording a little bit of it, I think she is like Plasma Pulse Radius. I forgot that quickly. I was that unsure. Plasma Pulse is pretty strong, but increasing the radius of the Plasma Pulse is not that helpful. You typically want to like drop it on the head of a smasher and let it do its damage that way. Not a super useful hero, unfortunately. Unlike Thunder Thora has electrified floors, where she makes it so that the enemies standing on your base take damage over a period of time. It's not a huge amount of damage. This is only viable for low-level missions, low-level ventures, or if you're AFKing a V-Buck mission as a high-level player. For those reasons, I think it's A tier. I've actually used her in high-level missions anyway, because there aren't that many ways to make your base do damage, and even if it's basically no extra damage, you might as well throw her in there, so A tier is a pretty fair position. Ice King is our first easy S tier hero. This is one of the best constructors in the game. In fact, I just posted, if you're watching this in the future, I'm recording this in 2023, and I actually, as of recording this, just posted the yearly summary where we found out that Ice King is the most popular constructor commander in the game, because stopping a smasher, breaking your walls, freezing it in place is super useful, and for that reason, he is absolutely an S tier hero. We're breaking order, apparently. I swear he was not in here the last time okay, who do we even got here? This is what I'm talking about. This is Riot Response Hazard. Okay, what do you even do? When I don't know what a constructor does, this is always a bad sign, by the way, because I don't need to remember. Yeah, Plasma Pulse cooldown. That's about as useful as the Radius. I'll say more useful than Radius. If you're spamming Plasma Pulse, that's all right. But yeah, there are 52 constructors in this game, and I think almost half of them have really bad abilities like that, so I kind of ignore them. A lot like Tank. Tank makes it so that when you block with Going Constructor, you can charge up those shots and do damage with them. It's pretty bad. That might sound good. Every time people have tried it, I've heard bad things. I want to put him in F tier. I think that's where he belongs, and just skip right along to the next one. Like I said, I'm trying to go a little quick for these early ones here. So this is Tank Penny. She gives you hardware damage. I think she's A tier specifically because buffing hardware damage is really good versus the Mythic Storm King's Horn. That is the only reason she's used, but I like to put her in A tier because if you think about how often she does get used, I find myself putting her in my loadouts quite often whenever I run MSK with viewers on stream, and that's the only reason. Typically, hardware weapons aren't that amazing, so I don't think she's usually worth A tier otherwise, but because of the Storm King, I feel like she's been elevated. This is Sid. So he gives you a kinetic overload bonus damage. If you don't know what kinetic overload is, every single constructor has it. When you knock back or stagger an enemy with a melee, it can trigger that. It does a little bit of extra damage and increases your impact. It's not super useful, but he does activate Boom Base, and for that reason, I feel like he's kind of nice. He activates Boom Base, and he has good stats overall, so he gives you a little bit of extra shield and health to have in support. I find him used more often than you would think for such a bad hero, but I've never cared much about kinetic overload. It's not that strong. This is Machinist Harper. I got to be careful about this one. Machinist Harper is, because all the Harpers look alike, is a hero that gives you extra trap durability. Yeah, there we go. I'm double, triple checking nowadays. That is, a lot of people say S tier. I don't really know because I'm not an endurance player. I don't really respect endurance as something that you really need to spec into. I feel like it's pretty easy if you're not AFKing. So I put her in A tier. She mostly just helps out noobs who don't have trap durability survivors, but in the end game, you never need her outside of endurance. So yeah, we're all gonna have different opinions on that. This is another hero that made me stop to re-record this because he is not who I thought he was. Noir and Sleuth, if you look at Noir here, he's got the black coat and the hat. Sleuth is different. He's got the beige coat and the hat. So Sleuth increases your Rosie's fire rate, I believe. We just looked at him, so I'll show him right here. Right there we go. Rosie's fire rate is increased and you get some more ammo. It's kind of useful if you're making Rosie do more damage. I think that's kind of a C tier ability because Rosie's nothing to build a loadout around, but it's a little underrated. But yeah, a fairly underwhelming hero. Nothing, like, you could play this game for years, never use this hero once like I did, and probably be fine. It's one of those unfortunate situations. This is, okay, Sentinel Hype. She increases decoy duration by 1.5 seconds. Decoy has not been a relevant strategy in a long time. We haven't stalled with Decoy since Horde Bash in like 2018. It's a nice ability when you're spamming Decoy, but seeing as you're pretty much never spamming Decoy, I feel like C tier is fair just because Decoy spam can be viable, but I understand with C and with D and F tier. I probably should have put her in F tier, but I don't know. I said what I said. I want to think of a more serious hero. Like, okay, this is what made me re-record this video. This is the last time I'm going to mention that, I think. Guardian Bull is who I thought this was. Saboteur Bull. I literally don't even know what he does. I'm going to pause this so I can look into this real quick here because he is part of this section right here. Decoy explodes, dealing some base damage. That's actually okay. 51 base damage is a little bit. But again, everything I said about Decoy applies. I'll put that in C tier. I feel like if you're somebody who's using Decoy, you might as well get some extra damage out of it, but it's probably not going to help too much, and I'm curious to see where everybody votes in because, yeah, lower end. Typically, Constructor abilities are not something you want to spec into because they're not that strong. Oh boy, Riot Control Iza. I think she's Plasma Pulse damage. I actually think I know this one because she got a starter pack and that refreshed her in my brain for some reason. I believe I send her out on expeditions. Oh, I'm wrong. Yeah, Riot Control Iza. 43 to enemies in a, when Plasma Pulse is placed, it deals base energy damage to enemies. So it's like a little bit of extra damage on top of your Plasma Pulse. If I'm gonna vote, if Radius made it to D tier, why is extra damage in F tier? I'll put her in D tier just to be consistent. Because like I said, Plasma Pulse, it's nothing you want to build a loadout around. But it is actually pretty good damage. If you've ever walked on top of a Smasher and dropped the Plasma Pulse on its head, you'd know that it's actually pretty good. I am gonna put this hero in A tier. Specifically because she is not only the only hero in the game that buffs club damage. Okay, I'm like 90% sure she's club damage. I don't trust myself anymore. Where is she? There we go. Privateer Hype. Club damage by 17%. Clubs are normally not that strong. However, she's a pirate that activates Blakebeard's stash and increases club damage, which includes the peg leg. For that combination of reasons, she is used all the time in almost every Ventures season and is actually pretty good. 17% of a very strong weapon, the peg leg, makes her A tier in my opinion, but I understand B tier because normally peg legs are not that strong. This is Demolitionist Penny. I'm gonna put her in S tier. That might be a little high. I understand that, but she's the only hero in the game that directly buffs rocket launchers. That is so good. Rocket launchers are the strongest weapon class in the game. We're talking the Mythic Wrath, the Pot Shot, the Discharger. She makes it do 50% more damage in the lead. We just did Frost Knight with her as my commander. Very strong hero. Even in support at 17%. 17% of millions of damage is hundreds of thousands of damage. It's a very, very, very strong bonus. Easy S tier as well for much less interesting reasons. She's not killing anything more deader, Prehistoric Giza. She's just making you less dead. You know, extra armor is really good. Keeps you very tanky. Activates Blast from the Past. S tier hero by all measurements. I don't think we need to wait for this vote to run out. I think S tier is where she belongs, and we can just skip along to the next one. Mega Base, easy S tier. Yeah, Mega Base makes your base huge. 3 extra tiles in the lead, 1 extra tile in support. He is also a mythic hero that unlocks supercharged traps, which if you use it to its full effectiveness, increases your trap damage by 42%. That's a really good combination. He's who we were talking about with base MD earlier, where your Mega Base just blankets a ton of really, really good blankets all of your traps, and then they do a bunch of damage throughout, and then you can just heal yourself while you're walking on them. Mega Base is one of the best constructors in the game. Who else do we got here? Power Pot Penny. So I'm inclined to rate her highly because she gives you Rock and Riff. That's a 50% damage bonus, and you get a 32% melee attack speed bonus for 8 seconds. However, she activates it in the least convenient way possible. Heavy attack eliminations. I almost never use her. I respect the idea. Maybe B tier, since heavy attack and some melees can be good. There are like spin to win, such as like the Steam Skewer when you're spinning around a lot. You might be using Totally Rocking Out in that. Not Mega, not Mega. Was that not Mega? That wasn't Mega. Oh, was that Heavy Base? Oh. All right, this recording was paused briefly to discuss a situation that has occurred. It appears as though I've been talking about Mega Base when it was actually Power Base Kyle. In my defense, look at this. Look at these two heroes. Look at Power Base, I believe, is like Founders, and he's just like one of the heroes that's a clone of Power Base Nox, who's absolutely an S tier hero. We'll talk about him later. But look at it. You cannot blame me for this. I am not a Constructor main. I understand the best Constructor perks. I refuse to take an L on this one. But like, are you kidding me? Different straps and goggles. At a glance, these are the same hero to me. And I don't ever use Power Base. So, all right, I made a mistake. Power Pop goes in her position. I'm just going to gloss over Mega Base next time. Okay, this is Power Base Penny. All right, so let me talk about her, because I actually do use her. Power Base is the exact same as the hero I should have been talking about, Power Base Kyle. This makes it so that your base heals 11% every 10 seconds and 4% support. Healing your base over a period of time is really, really good. That's why everybody was putting it in S tier, and I didn't notice it, but it's fine. I just explained the wrong hero at the wrong time. Honestly, everything I said about S tier still applied. So, you know what? We storm ahead. Power Base, okay, S tier. Can we all just do S tier real quick? Same hero 3 times. All 3 of these Power Base heroes have the exact same abilities. So, healing is very good. You should use them. Next. Next. Who do we got here? Instead of making another mistake, let's pull up my... Okay, this is actually it. I'm saying it. This is for real this time. This is actually Plasma Pulse damage, all right? Plasma Pulse damage is, in my opinion, the strongest perk you can give to Plasma Pulse, which is still like C tier. You should probably never be building a Plasma Pulse loadout. I apologize to the viewers who got stuck voting S tier. When I pause on Tier Maker, it's kind of jarring for the viewer, because when I unpause, they go to vote, and then it's a different hero. I have talked to the people who made this, and I told them that there should be a little bit of a cooldown. No name. Plasma Pulse is not underrated. We know it's a strong ability. It's just not so strong that you should be speccing into it with your support perks. I literally don't know who this is. You know, that's a bad sign. This happens sometimes. You know, it's happened several times throughout this recording. Ooh, when your shield depletes, it resets cooldown? That's F. Literally F. Why are you putting that in B tier? When your shield depletes, you get an instant bull rush? You guys in the chat thought that was a B tier hero? I would love to know the explanation. If it was a misclick, that's fine. We won't make fun of you. I just need to know what the reasoning was. It's a good ability, but shouldn't be your loadout focus. Are we still talking about Plasma Pulse there? Because that was, yeah. Eddie, oh, Eddie. Eddie is interesting. I was recently one-shotting Smashers with the Ravager using Eddie. Is he in here? Am I blind? Is this like, that's Locke? Oh my god, dude, it keeps happening. It keeps happening. Who is Locke, chat? Just educate me. What does Eddie look like? And can I show this real quick? Is he a ninja? I don't even know. Where is Eddie? Why does this keep happening? Why do these heroes look so similar? I'm just letting it ride. I don't even care. I do want to go find him real quick. This is Eddie. All right, we'll get to him later. I feel like this recording is a hilarious combination of me not maining constructors and so many constructor abilities being super useless. I did not get the lock pack. I did not buy that, so I'm not familiar with that hero. That's a paid hero only. I don't even know what he was a reskin of, so I'm just going to skip his plasma pulse radius. Okay, cool. Yeah. This is something. So many constructors look the same and have terrible abilities, which just butchers my memory. I have nothing to cling to when I'm thinking of these heroes, and I have no shame. I'm sweating bullets, but I have no shame. Okay, this is actually Mega Base. I know that one for sure this time. I know what I'm talking about. We already said everything about Mega Base. Really good. Makes your base bigger. Buffs your traps with the team perk. Everybody get your votes in. I'm going to skip it. Nobody get confused. I have to do a few seconds because of stream delay. All right, let's head on to the next one because we already talked about him extensively. Again, at first glance, I don't even know who this is. All right, let's see here. Let's see if we can figure it out. Go through the list here of different here. Tank Penny? Is this Tank Penny again? No, that's the wrong icon. All right. Pause. Why do my pictures look the same? Literally, every single version of Penny is just like a different shirt. Like, how am I supposed to keep track of this at a glance? This character design is driving me nuts. We are looking for a red-shirted Penny, and I don't even know which one this is. I'm gonna pause until we get this sorted. It appears as though our culprit is Marathon Hype. She increases your bull rush distance by 2 tiles, which is an F tier ability. Bull rush is used for stopping smashers in their tracks, clearing enemies off your walls, and that's pretty much it. You don't need that to be 2 extra tiles. If anything, if you're one of those teammates that pushes a mini boss out of the slow field with your bull rush, you don't need to screw us up by going 2 more tiles. This is Plasma Pulse damage, I think. This is one of those reskin hero. No, Machinist Mina's trapped her ability. She's trapped her ability. I know this one. I made a whole specific video on her. I guess she's just gonna mirror wherever Machinist Harper is. You guys put her in S tier. I stick to A tier. We could all get our votes in real quickly. Yes, I know this one because I made a video featuring the Zapamax. This is back when reskins still happen with packs. I'm gonna skip ahead because we already talked about Machinist Harper. Oh boy, this is another one. I never bought this pack. Can people in chat tell me who this is a reskin of? This is Lars, and he's Sid. Is he really Sid? Okay, I'm just gonna skip him regardless because I don't like these paid only heroes to be in here. This is Kyle the 13th. I believe he's like when enemies attack your decoy, they take damage. Yeah, because it's a little useful. That's a little useful. I might put that in like C tier. I have used him in certain loadouts actually. Whenever I'm building a decoy build, he's useful in decoy builds. As mentioned, decoy loadouts are not that amazing, but it's nice when you're running decoy. There's nothing much else to say about that. Who else do we got here? Who else do we got? What? Dude, at first glance, I cannot place any of these heroes. Like, I know the abilities whenever I read into it, but every time I'm confused. Literally who? Yeah, I'm glad I'm not the only one who's like so lost by this. I'm gonna pause the recording again and go find who we're looking at here. Oops, you guys said Lars is power pop. It doesn't matter. I don't think it's a very strong build either way. Aha! This is Hot Fixer Hazard. He is an interesting hero. I understand the ability of repairing your builds faster can be strong. In Frost Knight, when you're repairing your builds every run, that makes sense, but I have never, ever seen him as necessary. I get that the ability can be good, but I've never, ever seen that as useful. I'm going to put it in D tier. I feel like I know what the devs were going for with that idea, but we've beaten Frost Knight at the highest level many times without any help from hot fixers, so I've never really respected that build. Okay, so with the melee heavy attack savers, I never know who does what. I know there are several types of heroes that do that. This is hardware. Okay. That should figure since she's a constructor. Hardware heavy attack spam is, as F tier puts it, not usually useful. You've got the surround pound and the surround pound, so I don't even think you need her to make the surround pound a really good spammable weapon. I'll say D tier. I get it's kind of useful sometimes, but I don't know. All right, I'm like heavy base Kyle. Heavy base Kyle makes it so that when enemies die on your base, it charges up an explosion, does some extra damage. It's like B tier in my opinion. You guys say S tier. I have never paid attention to the damage from them. So I'll admit I'm a little lacking in this one hero, but I've never seen it make, he's so useless. I've never seen it make that much of a difference. Yeah, that's the thing. I've never noticed the damage, and that's either me being not very observant or his ability being, I don't agree with, I think B tier is where he should be. I just busted my butt to get this hero today because he's killing 100 lone Krampuses, and I already had him in the collection book. So now I have 3 Sentry Gunner Krampus. Rosy Elimination, you can increase damage. It's kind of like Crack Shot. That's probably pretty strong for a Rosy ability, but I don't know. I feel like that's an S tier Rosy ability, but Rosy is like such a D tier ability that I'll put him in D tier. I get where they're going, but I don't know that it's that useful. Same thing with Sentry Gunner Earhart. I don't even remember what she does. Something about fire rate and damage, but it's Rosy. Yeah, Rosy damage. So basically him. So why is she S tier all of a sudden? What? Are you guys trolling? What? This is another Rosy hero, and you guys are putting her in S tier. Is this my chat, like, getting confused the same way I was before? I feel like she's fine in C tier. Let's skip ahead. Yeah, D tier, maybe. All right. This one is actually Guardian Bull. He was the reason I mentioned his other half earlier. He was the reason I had to re-record this video, because Guardian Bull gives you hardware crit rating. That's really good in the MSK fight. All of my reasoning for Tank Penny applies. I don't know if S tier is fair. I just put him in S tier. I meant A tier. I meant A tier. But you know what? For those of you who skip to the end of the video and skip all my explanations, you're doing yourself a disservice, because I actually do have reasoning. In this case, it's an accident. I did not plan to put him in S tier, but yeah. Nox, oh my god, he leaves trip mines behind you while you charge. I remember that hero because obviously he's got a golden mask. I'm not gonna forget Gold Nox, but I remember that because this is a really interesting ability that's worse than you might think. I feel like it's S tier fun, F tier viability. We had to try really, really hard to make him do useful damage. It was not that good. It's 110 base damage, but it's physical, and it's unfortunate. It's a great idea for a hero, but I don't know who this is. I think it's Electro Pulse Penny. Yeah. She makes it so that when enemies smack your base, they take damage. I like that ability. I think she's Thunder Thora. Same in every respect. Like, it makes your base do offensive damage. It makes you, able to AFK VBuck missions. It's not a ton of damage. It's useless in the end game. I think it's a perfect A tier hero. If you're a noob, she's great. In the end, you need to do your own damage. So I think A tier is where she belongs. Eddie. Actually Eddie this time. Hey, look at me. All right, so this one's interesting. Critical hits with melee weapon energy damage adds 20% of your current shield. It's so confusing, but I did use him to one-shot smashers recently, and this is with a this is with a energy ravager with a really good melee build. I don't think he's usually that good. I'll put him in C tier. I'm starting to see the light, but typically getting shields in a melee build is really hard to do, and he's really hard to take advantage of, but I'm starting to get it. Director Riggs extends your Going Constructor. Going Constructor is so bad, though. They did a whole update where they buffed Going Constructor, and they tried to make it useful. And I ran to Director Riggs, specifically trying to make that useful, and it just isn't. You're slow, you're clunky, you can shield yourself to not die, and your damage is alright, but you are a turtle, and I don't like it. I don't like it. They tried to make it good, and it was still, yeah, that's how I feel about that. Nah. Dennis Jr. easy S tier. So, his ability is pretty not great. It just, axe eliminations activates Totally Rockin' Out. Or Rock and Riff, more specifically. Rock and Riff activates Totally Rockin' Out. That's a different thing, by the way. It's nice. It's actually nice. Some axes are good, but it's only axes. However, he is the hero that gives you Totally Rockin' Out. So, because of that one reason, S tier. Totally Rockin' Out's the highest damaging team perk in the game. You wouldn't have it without Dennis Jr. So for that reason, he's an S, but yeah. This is Controller Harper. I believe she does something with your decoy cooldown. Yeah. That's why S tier. Okay, people are trolling. D tier, maybe. Same thing as before. If you're spamming decoy, she's kind of nice, but yeah. She's in D tier already. I'm just going to skip ahead, save us all some time. Not a complicated hero. I don't even know what he does. I'm not even gonna lie. Decoy deals 6 damage to nearby. Ooh, yeah, that's what. That's another like D tier. I mean, if you're buffing your decoy, some passive damage is whatever. But oh, F tier is winning out. Okay, F tier or D tier, which one's gonna win? I'm actually gonna watch this one out. I'm kind of curious. It looks like he's climbing the F tier rating, and it looks like the votes have stopped rolling in. So yeah, F tier is where he is. All right. Constructor Penny. Now, probably S tier, because some of you like the idea of a thick woman wearing cat ears, but for save the world purposes, decreases Bull Rush cooldown. F. I mean, again, Bull Rush is not an ability you use very often. It's not something you need to spam, and you definitely have a lot of support perks that will help you more than a slightly faster Bull Rush cooldown. So, yeah. Gonna go ahead and skip on to the next one. Hey, Bomb Squad! So, I've come around to liking this hero a lot recently. I've been using him in my Frost Knight runs. He only gives you 22 armor and support. That's it. It's super straightforward. He just makes you a little bit more tanky. 22 armor is basically like taking 20% less damage. And when you're running Frost Knight and you're in the 450 power level areas, a taker can do about 1 million damage. And if you're not running Blast from the Past, he does enough. He adds enough armor to where you can actually survive hits from takers when you otherwise wouldn't. And it's actually more useful than it sounds. 22 is not a big number, and armor is not explained anywhere in the game, but if you have been dying a lot in your games and you want to die less, he's always active and kind of nice. Blakebeard, easy S tier because of his team perk once again. Blakebeard's stash is super good. Cannonballs do a ton of damage. Peg Leg's super strong. We talked about that earlier with Privateer Hype. I don't know where she went. There she is. Coconuts are awesome, and Blakebeard's stash is a staple in ventures and regular missions anyway, and he gives you that perk, and he buffs cannonball damage. Super good hero for that reason, and yeah, not much else to say. I think we should just skip ahead. If it lets me, can I? All right. Black Knight Garridan. What? Something about like, okay, I think he activates kinetic overload twice or something. Hardware impact and additional. Yeah, F tier. I've never found that hero to be useful. I've had some people try it, but I don't know. The votes are still rolling in. Looks like he's securing a higher F tier, but I think we're all mostly on the same page about that one. So in the interest of time, what does Birthday Brigade Penny even do? She is fully inaccessible, which is kind of unfortunate. If I go to her, I have her. Plasma Pulse cooldown. Yeah, F tier. Same deal. It's a good ability. It's not something you're spamming. Cooldown's not going to help much. And most people don't have her and can't get her. So I'm just going to skip ahead to a hero we can all get, which is Base Kyle. Easy S tier. I feel bad for the F tiers down here who are probably voting on accident. He is, in my opinion, he's always been my favorite constructor because he just increases your wall's health by 84%. That is so strong. And it's some other number in support. I don't know the exact figure because it's always weird. It's never 30 and 80. No. It's 30. It's like 84% in the lead, and we'll find out together in a second here. Where is I probably favorited him? Yeah, there we go. 28% in support. I don't know why I could forget that, but yeah, he makes your walls thicker. Speaking of thicker, we got Arlene Iza. She makes you heal from melees, and that is a substantial amount. She basically adds life leech to your melees. It's really, really good. It's pivotal for surviving in a crowd if you're dealing melee damage. Melees are always in the fight, so you got beehives on you, storm damage, acid pools, enemies attacking you, ranged attacks attacking you, and with the right build, her healing from your melee weapon damage alone can keep you alive through all of that. It's so good. It's actually so good. Ankylo Kyle, on the other end, is a total F tier. He makes you heal when you use kinetic overload, which is... I've had some people defend him vehemently, but I have not gotten any proof or convincing that that's viable at all. So... yeah, terrible hero, and he's like a bad mark on dinos. So there you go. There's a community tier list for constructors. This was a very scuffed recording. I really apologize, but in my defense, I said all the things I already said. A lot of constructors are either super useless. I mean, look at this F tiers. I mean, look at that. The bottom half of constructors are like, none of these are used for anything ever. There are so many constructors in this game that I only talk about in these tier lists. So I don't feel bad for forgetting their names and getting a couple of them mixed up. However, These constructors up here are really good. If you're ever looking for like which constructors are the best, my list and the community list are pretty similar. These are just rearranged. It's basically the same list. So yeah, if you're looking for suggestions on what's good and what's bad, this will keep you straight, I think. I mean, most of these are pretty solid, and that can help you in your journey. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you're new. Check out some of these recommended videos at the end, and I'll see you in the next one.